Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create this really cool X-Wing fighter bracelet. This is not my own design. This was sent to me by Suzanne HB. She is on Instagram as Crazy Just Might Work, so I would definitely check her out. She has some really cool designs she's been sharing with me. So yeah, you'll be seeing some more in the near future. But here is her X-Wing fighter bracelet. It's really cool. It is a pretty thick bracelet, as you can see. So just keep that in mind when making it. It does take a lot of bands. It took me 210 bands to make this bracelet here. I did also do one where I just, because all these bands are doubled for this bracelet design, but I wanted to see what it would look like with just doubling the middle, which is my white, and single banding the side. So if you like that variation, you can certainly do that as well. That only took it would take 158 bands to make it this size. So, but I just made a little piece to show you. So anyway, here is that. This is the one I'll be showing you today, all double banded. So let's go ahead and get started. To make this bracelet, you will want to have one loom, your hook, and a C-clip. I'm using my metal tip hook from rainbowloom.com, and I do recommend a nice sturdy hook for this bracelet because there is a little tension. Also for the colors, I'm going to be using blue jelly, purple jelly, and then I will be using teal for the middle colors. For the loom setup, we will only be using 2 pins. So you want one on the very far outer side and then on the very inner side, just like I have it here. And you do not want them staggered. You want them being side by side, or, you know, like so, like I have it here. And then I'm going to be we're going to be using 8 pegs. So I'll be using these 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's like a little rectangle over here. And then I have this open so that my bracelet can grow down in there. So as long as you have it set up like that, I like my arrows pointing to the right to make the looping easier. But I believe you can face it either way because I'm going to be turning it around to loop this side anyway. So, alrighty, so enough chit chat. Let's go ahead and get started. The entire bracelet is made with 2 bands, so keep that in mind when laying the bands, that they will always be doubled. I'm going to go from this pin here, and I'm going to go from this pin here, just laying 2 bands on there like that, and we're going to be stretching it over to this pin here, like that. So it is quite a little bit of a stretch. I guess I should have mentioned that there is a lot of tension on the bands, so I would recommend using like bands of high quality or that, you know, stretch a great deal without breaking. So we're going to lay from that pin here to that pin there. Again, it is a little far stretch, no twisting needed. Using the same 2 colors, or if you're using a different color, that's fine as well. But this band here is going to be for the middle, which is where I used the white, and then this band that's going to go from here to here is also going to be the white. But in my case, it's going to be teal for this one. So, from this pin here, we're going to stretch it over to here. So, just lay the bands like so, and give it a nice stretch, like that. So, as you can see, it kind of makes like an X or wings. Well, not really wings, but yeah, so it's like a X in a sort of kind of way. So anyway, let's go ahead and lay our next set of bands. So just push those down. Our next layer, I'm going to be using my jelly blue. And this time we're going to be laying it across these 3 pins here. So it's going to make a little like kind of a triangle shape. So what I'm going to do to show you how to do that is just lay it on these front 2 like that. And then you can grab your hook and just grab the top bands, 2 of them, and just stretch it up like that. So it kind of makes the little upside down triangular shape kind of. And then we're going to do the same on the right side. I'm going to use purple jelly for this side. So we're going to do the same on these 3 pins as well. So I'm just going to lay it on those 2 like that. And then grabbing with my hook the top part of those bands, I'm just going to pull it up and over that pin. So this is what it should look like. So just make sure it looks just like that. And then if it does look like that, we're going to bring the bottom layer up and over. So it would only be on these 2 pins that we're going to be looping. So just grab the 2 bottom bands because they, you know, they are always doubled for this bracelet. grab the 2 bottom bands and we're just going to bring it up and over that pin, just sticking it behind there. And we're going to do the same on this right pin. So grabbing those 2 bands, just bringing it up and over behind the pin like that. Go ahead and push those down. We're going to go ahead and add on another layer. And these are going to be referred to as our wings. I think that's where she kind of came up with the name, because the middle looks like an X and these look like wings. So that's what I'll refer to these bands as. So I'm going to go ahead and add on another layer. And you know what? I said we're going to lay wings, but we're not. We're going to actually lay the middle again. I apologize about that. So whatever color you're using for your middle, grab now. And we're going to go from this pin again over to this pin, stretching it across like that. And we're going to do the same crossing to the left. So from here to here. So that's what we should have again. And we're going to just bring these 2 bottom layers up and over one more time. These are the only 2 pins we're going to loop this time. Just like that. Now go ahead and push down your bands. And now this time we're going to add our wings on. So I'm going to grab my blue jelly. And we're going to be putting it on these 3 pins again. Now if you're capable of doing it in all one motion, you can certainly do it like that. Like this is what I mean. If you can just stretch it along those 2 and then bring it up to that 3rd one. If not, it's totally fine. We're going to lay it on this side to just lay it across the 2 on the bottom and then use your fingers or your hook to just stretch it up and bring it over like that. It doesn't matter how, as long as you get it around those 3 pins like that. So now that we have both of those put on, now and for the rest of the bracelet, every time we lay our wings, we're going to loop all 8 pins. So the bottom layer needs to come up and over on all of them. So I'm just going to start from the right and work my way down. So bringing them bottom layer, which are 2 bands, up and over. Grabbing the bottom layer here, bringing that up and over. And we're going to do that for the rest of the pins. So I have all 4 of those done. Now I'm going to turn my loom around with my arrow facing to the left. And we're going to do the same on this side. So we're going to grab those 2 bottom bands. Make sure you don't grab the other bands. And bring them up and over. And on the last pin, the bottom 2, like that. So push those down. I'm going to turn my loom back around so my arrow is facing the right direction. And we're going to go ahead and lay another layer. Just going to come in a little bit here. Okay, so going back to teal, which is our middle color. We're going to stretch that across where the previous teals were laid, like that. Remember, we're still using 2 bands. Like that. And now we're going to just go ahead and loop these 2 up and over. When we lay our X bands, we will only be looping these 2 pins, and our wing ones, like I said before, will be all 8 getting looped. So just grab the 2 bands on these 2 front middle pins and bring it up and over into the middle, like that. Push them down and go ahead and add on your wings. So I'm going to grab my blue, laying it from these 3 pins. I'm just going to do it in one motion, like that. Going on to the right side, doing the same thing. So it should look like that. And now we're going to go ahead and loop all. My camera cut out on me, guys, so I do apologize about that. Where I left off was saying that we're going to need to loop all 8 up and over. I was starting on this pin when my camera cut off, so I did loop that one up and over, and now I'm going to continue on looping the rest of the bottom layers up and over. So grabbing the bottom 2 bands and just bringing them up and over, going all the way around, making sure not to miss any pins. I'm going to turn my loom around so we can do the other side. And just grab the 2 bottoms and bring them up and over. And now you can go ahead and push your bands down, turn your loom back around with the arrow facing to the right, and now we can go ahead and add on our next layer. And a fly just landed on my hand. Wow. Sorry about that. Okay, so grab your teal, and we're going to go stretch it over like we did the previous middle ones. Going to the left. And we can go ahead and bring the bottom bands up and over. Just on those two middle ones. And now we're going to lay our wing bands. So my jelly blue. And sorry, my hand kind of gets in the way when I lay the blue one a little bit. I'm just going to straighten my purple one out. It was a little crooked. And now we're going to go ahead and loop all 8 pins again. So grab the bottom 2. Just make sure you don't grab any more than 2 when you're doing this part. Once you get the hang of it, if you want to just go, like, keep your loom like this and grab it from the back, you can. I don't recommend that for this bracelet just because it's kind of hard to see how many bands you're grabbing. But once again, I'm just grabbing the bottom 2 bands on each pin and bringing them up and over. So I'm going to turn it back around again. And we can lay our next layer again. And we're going to keep doing this process for the duration of the bracelet. So we're going to lay our X, which is with our teal bands. And remember, we're only looping these 2 pins when we lay our X. So bring the 2 up and over. And now we can go ahead and lay our wing bands. Got a little stuck there, sorry. And now we can go ahead and loop all 8 again. So I just go from the right all the way to the left so I can make sure that I don't forget any bands. Turning my loom around. And now I can go ahead and loop these 8, or 4, sorry. Grabbing the bottom 2. Bringing them up and over. And that was the last one. Turning it back around. And if you have a rainbow loom, it's going to just grow out through the bottom. This band is quite thick, so I really don't know that you would be able to make this if you don't have a rainbow loom, because you would have to try to squeeze it through here. I mean, I guess you could maybe try to. I just think it might be a little bit tight. But yeah, so just thought I'd mention that. So I'm just going to silently keep adding the bands and doing the process just a few times to make sure everyone is caught up and knows how to do it. You just have to remember that when you lay the X band, you're only looping these 2 pins. And when you're doing your wings, you're doing all 8 pins for the looping. And look, see, I already started looping in the middle. That's out of habit. It really doesn't matter where you start. I just think you should go from left to right or right to left so you don't miss any. But out of habit, I usually always go for the middle first. But as I mentioned before, this design was made by Susan HB, aka Crazy Might Just Work on Instagram. And she's really awesome, guys. I mean, she's been sending me quite a few of the bracelets she has designed. And they're just super cool. So I would definitely go give her page a follow and keep an eye out for upcoming tutorials that I'll be making for her bracelets. Now I'm going to go ahead and loop all 8 because we just laid our wings. If you feel that you've already caught on to the looping process and are bored with watching me, you can certainly feel free to fast forward to the end and watch me close it up. I'm probably going to do this about 2 more times, and then I will go ahead off camera and finish the bracelet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one last time, and I will give directions one more time just in case anyone's confused. So I'm laying from my middle pin here, stretching over with my, my X is the shape we're making. I'm using my teal bands. I'm going to do the same crossing out over towards the left. When you lay your X bands, we're only looping these 2 front middle bands. And you're bringing the bottom 2 bands up and over just on these 2. And then after that step, we're going to lay our wing bands like that. Cross those 3 pins. Then you're doing the same on the right side. The only difference is the shapes are both facing out. And when you have your wing bands laid, as mentioned before, we're grabbing the 2 bottom bands and we're going to loop them all up and over on all 8 pins. So I did those 4, and now I'm going to do these 4. I'm going to go ahead and push that down. And one thing that I would say that is pretty important for this bracelet is as it starts to grow out, and you can see the design here, it's very important that you give it a really nice, good, hard pull just so everything can fall into place. So there you can see the design starting. I think it looks super awesome. But just as you continue to make the bracelet, give it a nice tug as it starts to gain some length. But I am going to go ahead and go off camera, guys, and finish up the length of my bracelet. If you don't know how to do it thus far, just go ahead and rewind and watch the previous instructions. And I will be back to show you how to close it up. Alrighty, guys, so I did go ahead and finish up the length of my bracelet. So now we can go ahead and get it closed up together. Just make sure that the last bands that you laid and looped were your side wing bands. So in my case, the dark blue jelly and purple jelly is the last ones I laid and looped. And now what we're going to do, starting on the outsides, we're going to just bring them into the middle, onto the inner pins. So starting at the top left corner, we're just going to leave, and there should be only 2 bands on each of your 8 pins as well. But grab the 2 pins at the top left, carefully removing that from the pin, and we're going to just put it on the pin next to it. Now you don't want to twist it and put it on like this, even though I know it looks like it would go that way. Don't do that. Just bring it off of the pin and just lay it right back on like that. If you do end up turning it, I mean, that is okay. It just puts a little bit of a twist in it at the very end. Doing the same to the right side. Taking that off carefully, just bringing it over and laying it on top there. We're going to come down to the bottom and do the same thing. Be very careful here because it's very easy to lose these 2 bands. And this one you're going to you are going to cross over like that. Grabbing the last one on this bottom right, crossing that over like so. Go ahead and push those bands down. And now all we're going to do is you're going to grab one single band, which is the color of like the side border here, which was teal for me. And you're just going to lay it around all 4 of these pins. So just stretch it around all 4 of these like so. And now we're just going to bring all 4 up and over. So grabbing the bottom bands, and there is a lot of bands here. I think there's like 4, so you're probably not going to be able to grab them all at once. You can just go in and grab 1 at a time or 2 at a time. I'm going to grab 2, and I start at the top so that they're not all like crisscrossed in. If you just pull the bottom over and then the top over, they're going to be like intertwined. So just go in, grab 2 bands or 1, bring that over, go right back under, grab the other 2, and then bring that over. Going to the next pin, doing the same thing. If you can grab all 4 like that, you can do it like that. It's just, it makes me nervous that I'm going to lose the bands. So I'm going to turn it around so I can show you how to do this side. We're doing the same exact thing. So I'm going to just grab these 2, bring them over, and then grab the other 2 and bring them over as well. So we're just leaving that very top teal band on there, or turquoise band on there. Doing the same to this last right pin. If I can get a hold of them. Yikes. There we go. Make sure you only have 2 bands. Bring it up and over. Or you can have 3 or 4, just as long as you don't have the top one. And bring it over. Like that. So now we should only have 1 band on all 4 of these pins. I'm going to turn it back around. And this is what it should look like now. You can actually pull in your bracelet if you want to just pull that down a little bit. And now we're going to just go ahead and condense them all down to 1 pin. So I am going to bring this, right pin over here to the middle. So just place that band right on the top. And now we're going to bring these 2 down. It really doesn't matter which one goes first. But I'm going to carefully remove this back left one, and I'm just going to cross it over onto the pin. I'm going to do the same on this right side, crossing it over and laying it on top, pushing those down, and now you will have 4 bands on this pin here, and you can go ahead and apply your C-clip to that pin right there. You can pop it off and apply it, or just put your hook down in there and pull it out and do it that way. They are very tight, the bands, so you're going to have to give it a good little stretch to get the C-clip in. I do recommend doing it on the loom so you don't lose any bands. Once you have the C-clip on, make sure it's around all 4 of the pins, or all 4 of the bands, and pull it off like that. So there you see I have the C-clip attached, and then just give it a little pull just to make sure it's nice and snug. And I'm going to just stretch it out a little bit. It's, like I said, it's a very thick bracelet, so you may have some things like tucked in or not like showing properly. You can just kind of go in and tweak it and pull out wherever you see like bands are getting stuck. You can come on to the other side of the bracelet, locating the end here. You see there's like 4 loose bands down here at the end, or you can just, I guess, grab these 2 right here. I'm going to try to grab 4. Let's see. There we go. And just grab the other end of your C-clip and hook it around all 4, and bada bing. So I'm just stretching it out a bit. And there we have the completed X-Wing Fighter bracelet. I'm just trying to get some focus. There we go. Alright, so that is the X-Fighter wing bracelet. Like I said in the beginning, this is not my own original design. This was created by Susan HB, also known as Crazy Just Might Work on Instagram. So please make sure to check her out and give her a follow. She has some really good ideas and great bracelets, and I will be doing some more tutorials on her designs very soon. So yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys checking this tutorial out, and we hope you like this bracelet as much as we do. Don't forget to hit that like button below and subscribe if you have not done so already. So we really appreciate you watching, guys. I can't wait to see you at my next tutorial. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.